Thousands of Tamil protesters have descended on Parliament Hill. It's day 15 of their protest to get the Canadian government to help end what they call genocide in their homeland of Sri Lanka. Senthan Nada speaks for the demonstrators. He joins us now from Parliament Hill. Senthan, is this turnout what you expected, or is it perhaps fewer people than you had expected because of the weather?
I think more people are still keep coming in, and we all gathering here to dedicate at least one day from work. Everyone is coming here out to prevent the next genocide.
Okay, we heard a variety of numbers from 10,000 to 25,000. What do you believe is the real estimate of people who will be on Parliament Hill as this day goes on?
I think it can vary from 20,000 and more, and we have to wait and see.
Okay, this dispute is now into its third week, just passing the 2-week mark. Has it made a difference? The Canadian government does not seem to be listening.
I hope that's not true, and I hope they are working towards a permanent ceasefire solution inside the Parliament. I hope they're having a second emergency debate that will result in some action to stop the killings of innocent people in Sri Lanka. Happens to be Tamil people. They've been persecuted for the last 60 years. The killings have just increased by the hour now. Every hour, thousands are being killed, and in the safe zone, thousands are being killed. It's a bloodbath, and many are being buried in mass graves. Whoever are being directed into concentration camps. Sri Lanka has introduced concentration camp after 65 years. This is a very sad day. And every day we are waiting, many are getting killed, and we don't want our parliamentarians to have any party politics, join together, bring a solution that result in a permanent ceasefire.
What difference can the Canadian government make? What do you specifically want them to do?
We would like Canadian government to take political and economic action. So as a first step, Canadian government can do what Mr. Mulroney has done in South Africa, which is recall the Canadian High Commissioner on a temporary basis for consultation. That will send a strong message to Sri Lankan government that we have asked by words and they have rejected our call for ceasefire. And it's time that they listen, and that we can step by step reduce the diplomatic relations and also put economic sanctions on Sri Lanka.
Senthan, one thing I don't see behind you are any Tamil Tiger flags. There is concern over the Tamil Tigers and their link to terrorism. They are recognized as a terrorist group in Canada. Was there a specific decision made not to use their flags in this protest?
I think people have collectively made a decision not to bring the misinterpreted flag. By the time the misunderstandings are cleared, it'll be too late to save human lives. And I think they have created a platform for politicians to approach and address the crowd. And I hope they will come out and address the crowd and let us know what Canadian government is ready to do.
Senthan Nada, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It is a day of protest on Parliament Hill for thousands of Tamil Canadians. Organizers estimate the crowd will exceed 20,000 as the day goes on. Pro-Tamil supporters are arriving from Toronto, Montreal, and other parts of eastern Canada. It's day 15 of their protest to get the Canadian government to help end what they call genocide in their homeland of Sri Lanka. CTV's Norman Federley is among the protesters. Norman, do the numbers appear to be growing?
They are slowly, Michael. As you said, the organizers are hoping for 20, even 25,000. That might be a bit on the optimistic side, but certainly 10 or 12,000 are possible, maybe half that number gathering or here already.
Norman, we can see behind you, and we can see in pictures that we're seeing right now, there are no Tamil Tiger flags.
That's the interesting thing about this demonstration, Michael, as opposed to the other ones that have been held over the past couple of weeks. I think we're all familiar now with the image of the flag. It's orange, has crossed rifles on it. These people say, of course, that's the Tamil independence flag. But the other opinion, the Government of Canada's opinion, is that that represents the Tamil Tigers. And that is a prescribed terrorist organization in this country and several others. So I think the decision clearly has been made here today that you'll catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar. Leave the flags down, better chance of political support.
Norman, what do they want from the Canadian government, and what might they expect?
Well, essentially they want Canada to be more active in what they see as not only a civil war but a genocide against the Tamil people in Sri Lanka. They would like us to be more diplomatically active, recall our High Commissioner as an example. Will they get any of this? That's very difficult to say. Certainly leaving the flags down is a step in that direction. But I covered in my time on Parliament Hill, Michael, a lot of very large demonstrations. And I cannot recall at any time, however large the demonstration, it changing the government of the day's policy.
Norman, on a practical note, does this demonstration appear to be affecting downtown traffic at all?
The streets immediately around the hill are a bit clustered and there's traffic restrictions and such, but essentially once you get south of Queen Street, you're in the clear.
All right, CTV's Norman Federley on Parliament Hill. Norman, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
CTV's Robert Fife is on Parliament Hill now among the protesters, and he joins us. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Okay. So these pro-Tamil demonstrators have been on the Hill now for 2 weeks. Will MPs listen to what they have to say? They want Canada to reach out to Sri Lanka. Do you think that would happen?
Well, it's probably not going to happen, but what they're trying to do is largely trying to get in some humanitarian aid into the Tamil areas because right now the Sri Lankan troops are pretty much have crushed the rebellion. And what the concerns are of the demonstrators is that many of them have family members there, that there's a humanitarian crisis in their country, the area where they come from, and they really feel that there's a necessity to get humanitarian aid in there, particularly into the hospitals and for food. And that's the issue that they've been pressing very hard for. As well, you also mentioned they want economic sanctions, but I think the real issue for them is to get NGA groups to be able to get back into that part of Sri Lanka in the Tamil area so that they can get some food and medicine.
Bob, do you think Canadians understand this conflict and why these people feel the need to protest?
Well, I think Canadians understand that because we're a country of immigrants, that some people come from parts of the world where, there's a lot of infighting and religious or ethnic divisions that often result in a lot of violence. And one of the reasons why they're so fortunate to come in Canada, we don't have that. So I think people understand that people come from this part of the world and they're worried about their relatives back home. The problem that the Tamil group have had over the last while getting any kind of recognition is that many of them were using the Tamil Tiger flag, which is a terrorist group banned in Canada. And they were not getting a very good reception from the politicians or from the government when they were using the flag. And so today, this has been a very peaceful demonstration. Nobody has any of the Tamil flags around. In fact, people are even cleaning up the garbage around here. And so I think they realize that they've got to put that aside and try to get the message across to the government that this isn't an issue about the Tamil Tigers or the Sri Lankan government, but a humanitarian one. So far, the only leader who has spoken to the group has been Jack Layton. Although Michael Ignatieff met with 6 Tamil representatives just about 40 minutes ago, and the Foreign Affairs Minister, so far anyway, has not agreed to meet with any of the Tamil representatives, although Jason Kenney, who's the Citizens and Immigration Minister, said that he may meet with some of the representatives tomorrow, now that he's seen that none of the Tamil protesters have been using the Tamil Tiger flag.
Okay, Bob, I think you hit on it right there. For the past 2 weeks, they have been there with their red flags. Today, a very different type of protest, and a large one at that. Thank you for chatting with us today. Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.